welcome to another episode of Conversation with a Chef. I'm Jo Ritchie and I love sharing with you the conversations I get to have with talented and passionate chefs. It's a backstory, if you will, to the food they're putting up. I begin today by acknowledging the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, traditional custodians of the land where this conversation takes place, land which was never ceded, land where communities came together to eat seasonally, locally and without exhausting resources. I pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging. Today I'm chatting to Gareth Whitton at Tarts Anon. I was lucky enough to chat to Gareth and his partner, Catherine, for Broadsheet right before the Cremorne shop opened for dine-in customers. And I probably picked the worst time to hit up Gareth now for my own chef chat, given that they've only just opened a second shop in Collingwood and they have a baby due any second. Gareth was just finishing up something when I arrived, so he set me up with a delicious savoury tart, maple glazed bacon in a leek and almond base topped with Swiss Gruyère custard. Far be it from me to channel Janice from Friends, but oh my god. Gareth and I just launched right in with a very organic conversation covering, well, obviously tarts, but also imposter syndrome, dinner by Heston, and how fabulous and absolutely pivotal Catherine is in the narrative, in the community and the success surrounding Tarts Anon. Hi Gareth, how are you?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Good, thank you. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you too. Please mind the mess.
It smells delicious.
Can I get you something else for you?
A glass of water would be great, actually.
Yeah, I'll meet have yourself. This is still sparkling over here.
Thank you.
We had a little bit of leftovers today. But yeah.
What is that one? It's not leftover though, is it?
This one here?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
That's the savoury one.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Cheese and bacon. Yeah, absolutely. It's like Swiss Gruyère, custard on top. The leek, financier, a bit of caramelised bacon underneath.
Delicious.
Yeah. These guys are still going to be hanging up the next bit.
Yeah.
Do you want to go upstairs?
Yeah.
Is that easy?
It's a great idea.
Yeah, there's plenty of space, it's not tight as well.
Yeah, good.
This whole warehouse is owned by the Mulber Group.
Yes.
And they're actually hoping to lease these office spaces out in the next couple of months, hopefully to a building firm. Which would be a dream, because then I can get them to renovate. It's so hard at the moment, yeah. It's really tough. But we're hoping to extend the kitchen because we just can't. I mean, it's a good problem. Can't keep up right now.
It's amazing. Congratulations on Collingwood as well.
Thank you. Yeah. It's been good.
I was going to say, the number of chefs I've spoken to who have just opened a new venue and then have a new baby on the way or about to come is really phenomenal. Why do you do it to yourself?
I don't know. Honestly, now I think about it. I did say the other week that there was a certain was an appeal to it, and I know that we were going to look back and think like, that wasn't that bad, but we're right in the middle of it now. It's like it's not going to seem that bad because it'll be done, and nothing catastrophic has happened. But it's just been a grind, and you've had to because obviously the baby could come at any minute now.
Yes, I did think that.
And then Collingwood is, we're really juggling like a lot of different factors to make it work, and not only that, but like my sous chef and one of my strongest chefs are both on holidays. One's in Europe, one's in Canada.
Wow.
Yeah. And I guess to compound that, where we've just hired these new people who need training and no one to do it.
So I think that's another kind of fallout thing, isn't it? That, I mean, we had COVID and lockdowns, and then now, you're back, but there's people need holidays because, it's been stressful and whatnot, and it's winter, and then but then people are still getting COVID and not being at work, and it's full on. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Well, we had we've had COVID. Like people with COVID last couple of weeks. Got another one this week.
But on a positive note, you need a bigger kitchen and you're expanding. Who would have thought, from Catherine's brilliant idea for tarts, that it would be... It's so successful and everyone talks about you. Like, Tarts Anon is just everywhere.
Yeah. I don't know. I dead set didn't think that it was ever going to be like this. It never was supposed to be anyway. There's always a bit of hesitance from my end about doing this. I was always a little bit apprehensive about going out on my own. It might be that, I don't know what to call it. It's kind of like imposter syndrome, I guess. I know that's a word that gets bandied around a fair bit, but yeah, I think when last time we spoke as well, we talked about how it's so inherent in our industry, that you're never good enough.
Yeah.
And then there's like this new thing that I think the onset of social media and reality television, it's really giving people that belief that yes, they are good enough, and yes, they can be something. So a lot of young people are going out and making a fist of it, doing their own thing, and we've seen some great success stories of people who are, still in their infancy as entrepreneurs and restaurateurs and chefs, who are just like taking that leap a lot earlier than perhaps people of maybe my generation would have.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because I think on one hand, the new generation, the young generation coming through, there seems to be a lot of self-belief, and then there's a lot of anxiety and mental health concerns for them as well. So I wonder what it is that... But there is a real... I think because maybe the whole influencer thing and the fact that we see everyone online, but what do we see? We see all the good stuff that's happening for them. We don't see all the trials and tribulations. Maybe that makes people feel more able just to go, well, why can't I do it? They're doing it, so I'll just do it. Yeah, I don't know. Whereas we've had more time and you've slowly built up through the ranks and whatnot, and I don't know, it's an interesting one.
I remember growing up, like as a young chef in kitchens, and I don't know if it was just like the particular kitchens I was in, or if it was just that time, like the early mid 2000s. We were still really trying to... I think there was a lot of that toxic energy that was just rampant through the 90s in kitchens, where, hasn't really seen an evolution from until very recently. But it was not something you did. Like, you didn't go out and do your own thing. You didn't, like, cooking competitions were seen as like naff. The way that you made it was to put your head down and do the hard slog. And I call me old school, but I just still genuinely believe that that's the case. I will always support and praise people who have the bravery to go out and do their own thing. But one thing that I've noticed, especially with a lot of young people who have that confidence, a lot of the things that perhaps they lack are things that I think are only really acquired doing that rubbish stuff. If I like to be controversial, but I think it is. I think it's the case, and I think a lot of people will agree. But then again, that's also very much a toxic part of the industry that needs to change.
It's so tough, isn't it?
It is.
You go around in circles because you want to be encouraging and all of that, and and hospitality needs people and goodness and all of that stuff. It's tricky though. I was thinking about you, and I was thinking about, isn't it interesting how you've really narrowed down to one thing. And it's a bit like doing a PhD or a doctorate, where you've done all of the general study and then you've sort of refined your choices. You're like, head pastry chef, and then now you're doing tarts. It's like the very tiny little, but it's what everyone wants. Who knew that we even wanted tarts so much, but we really did.
Yeah. I think a small part of me also thought it was this, you know, when we were first started doing it, it kind of felt like it was a bit of a calling, but it was also the validification, I guess, of the business and of my, oh God, I wouldn't say image, but you know what I mean? Because I never wanted to be, obviously in the spotlight. Like that was, it's so far from my focus, and always had been. But I always want my legacy. I don't know, but like what I did and like what. It's always gonna be part of who you are. I think being a chef. And not the chef part, but like how you then take your skills and, you know, apply your trade. It is part of your identity. And I was never really sure what I wanted it to be, and I always wanted it to be something that was taken seriously. And I always wanted it to be the thing that, you know, the business was like, you know, the sole focus of what we were doing. Not for like my personal, you know, gratification or anything, but just more for you know, you felt like you were doing something important. And I wasn't really sure if Tarts was going to give me that, because I think the best thing about what it is that it is so understated. And I said this, you know, I've said this a few times when people have asked why, and I was just like, there's absolutely no reason other than just it was something that I guess we always did. And obviously, if you know a little bit about how we came to be with the lockdown, it just snowballed. And yeah, a good part of what we do is about like the product and everything like that, but so much more of it is about what Kat does, and like, you know, and the community and like our socials and things like that, and how we're perceived. And yeah, it's a package, but as for the product itself, like, yeah, I don't know. It's a very satisfying thing, I'll say. It's like one of those, it's like a lot of classic cooking that you do the most simple things, but you do them very well. A lot of those old school things, you really do see the results from putting in the graft early, doing everything, following all those steps. And you could be saying the same thing, like, you know, for most, well, particularly pastry, but like for a lot of cooking, you know, it's all about like your good foundations, good, like you can't make a good sauce without good stock, and that's true, you know.
It feels very French or very European.
It is.
I'm going to say that because I'm a French teacher, but I feel like, you know, specialising in one thing and doing it really excellently. Like, you know, La Durée in Paris, who do the macaron. Yeah, that's my one example. But, you know, but people do one thing over there, and that's what they're known for. And so I think that's great.
Yeah.
Why not?
Well, I think that's it. I think the fact that we were doing this was, yeah, as I said, it was just something that I liked to do, and I figured, you know, why not make this, you could do like different variations on a theme. But you do, I always used to use this one example of this cafe that I can't remember what it was, somewhere in Richmond, Bridge Road or something. It was this place, just to walk past, I won't name it, but you could get lasagna, pad thai, burger, you know what I mean, all on the same menu. And I just thought, like, gee whiz. And the same goes for so many restaurants. You think, like, why would you dilute your quality by trying to be, I think, you know, jack of all trades? And then, you know, if you really think about the essence of these specialists, and, you know, I'll use people like, you know, Laudray and like Hermé, you know,
yes,
like this is these great examples. And you got, like, you know, over here the sandwich revolution. You got people like Kate Reed, who are just, you know, and Cam, who decided to make both their businesses and just sort of like, we're going to do one thing, but we're going to approach it from a different angle, and we're going to do it better than anyone else. And even if there are people out there doing a great croissant, then, you know, they're also got a, you know, financier or a other thing on the menu, and it does dilute their focus somewhat. And obviously their brand and everything around it as well is just, you know, such a it's yeah, definitely like where the bar is, I think. But you know, I digress. The thing, having like specializing in the thing and not only putting all your focus and your intention into doing it best you can, is obviously going to give you a better product. But I also think it does make your, oh God, I hate to overuse the word brand, but because it is something that does get thrown around so much, but it is so important, I think, in having a business these days. But it gives you that image, and it means that these people they're the people who you think of when you think of a macaron, a croissant, a tart. And, we would love to be those people who think it's tarts and they think of us.
Yeah.
Because for all the reasons, because everything that we do, we do
that's right,
as best we can.
Or excellent product, excellent narrative. There's a sense of community around it. So you don't want to use the word cult following, but you've developed a cult following.
Yeah.
People were excited about another place, weren't they? It's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
In my mind, see all these people running up to Tarts Anon.
The excitement around it was nuts. Because, like I said, the narrative, it ties back into that. We did that. We kind of kickstarted a lot of things. Once we moved out of our apartment and into like a commercial kitchen and up in Collingwood, and we were there for the longest time, and that just sort of became us and who we were. And that's when we had the big lines queuing down Smith Street, and really forged our identity in Collingwood. So to come back home was kind of felt like that sort of return of the prodigal son. Finally going back to feeding people the north again. But no, and everything else about the new space is incredible. We love the guys who we've moved in with. They did an amazing thing. It was always something that I thought I would like to do at some point, but never really thought about how I could, combine two of my passions. But
so being head of a pastry section for Heston, that's huge in London.
No, I was. I worked as a chef de partie in London.
In London, okay.
Yeah. But we
head chef here.
Head chef. Yeah. So I when I left London way back when, they had already started knocking together plans. So all that stuff was already in the works for the Fat Duck and dinner afterwards. So and I left prematurely for nothing major other than Catherine and I had just started dating, and she was moving back to Australia. She'd been on a gap year in Argentina, and I was kind of torn between because I was just obsessed with that job. Like, I loved working there. I loved everything about working at dinner. Loved the people. I really looked up to Ashley. Heston was a big role model of mine, and I just didn't want to leave. But came back. So there was a lot of talk around. I say a lot of talk, but like we as plans were in motion, it was something like, I really want to be a part of this. So I was kind of like shortlisted to be part of the open team, which was obviously exhilarating. Got the call once probably about a year later, and was going to go down to work at the Fat Duck, but decided not to, and then went down for opening. Offered me sous chef job straight off the bat, which was wild at the time. I didn't think that I was at that point. Again, could have been that lack of confidence I had in my ability of leadership in particular, but it was 100% just wrapped with the opportunity. So went down and didn't really look back. Worked as a sous chef there for about 2.5 years, and then took over when the head pastry chef moved on. And
how many people did you have in your team then?
At the time, well, actually, it started off with an absolute bloody dumpster fire when I first took over, and we were down to about, I think, 7 or 8 at one stage, which was, about 4 below the head count. But I think we had there was 11 of us in the team. Yeah. In total at the end.
And now how many? Because now do we call you an executive chef now, or what are you?
I don't know what I am.
Chef owner.
Technically I'm the head chef still here, because I'm still very much on the tools, which is, where I want to be, I think, for now. Director, I say,
Yeah.
but then that kind of gives the illusion of it being far bigger than perhaps what we are. But at the end of the day, we've got like close to 20 employees, 2 venues. So, yeah, maybe I should just nestle into that director role. I don't know.
Right.
But yeah.
It's amazing,
Just
isn't it?
owner, co-owner.
Co-owner.
Yeah.
Co-owner and chef.
Yeah, co-owner chef, Tarts Anon.
And did you always want to be a chef?
No, that was, to be honest, I didn't really... I think I always had I always gravitated towards cooking a little bit, but we're not a culinary family by any means. Mum's a massive Francophile, so she loves the idea, but she's also, at the same time, very, meat and 2 veg, Central Coast, New South Wales, hardly, the gastronomic capital of Australia, but it was just pretty simple, but it was always Dad. If something special was happening, we were doing like some kind of, special occasion, then Dad was always on the pans, and I always liked to be around that, but I didn't think about it until I was 17. I'd been working as a KP ever since I was fortunate I was old enough to work, and then
Just because it was a part-time job, or
yeah. I mean, it's like the only kind of part-time work we had, in for people our age, and never really went down the supermarket checkout route, but in Southern Highlands, New South Wales, there's little restaurants, cafes, and so I was doing that, and then fell into a job, an African restaurant, and the head chef quit, and it was me and an apprentice and the owner, and it was really quiet. So on the weeknights, he would get me to cook the mains and whatever. I had no idea what I was doing. A lot of the stuff was in the microwave and stuff. It was hardly the most glamorous role, but it was fun, and I thought it's actually not bad. He'd tell me all these stories of working in big hotels in Sydney, and that was back in the 90s, it would have been wild, and all these crazy things, people stitching each other up, and people getting burnt, and head chefs screaming and chucking plates and that, and I was like, oh wow, that's nuts. And then I don't know, I think never being one for the institutions, I was fine at school, but just thought the idea of studying any further and doing exams and assignments and stuff was just so far from where I saw myself being, that I just thought, we'll give this cooking a crack, and I guess we didn't really turn back. I'm horrifically stubborn in that regard, to a fault, where I will stick with something even if I'll truly loathe it. I'll try and stick it out, just because I don't know what it is, badge of honour, but and then it's kind of evolved, and it was one of those things that maybe it all kind of pieced together from when I was a kid, and I found that the affinity I had with the kitchen, and perhaps wanted to be around when Dad was doing his signature Greek chicken or whatever, and making shortbreads or whatever with Mum and that, and then it came to be that first year as an apprentice was just this is actually pretty cool. Really enjoyed it, and then from there I think I just went well into the deep end, and just became a little bit obsessed. So, but it was never really something that I thought that I would do. I always wanted to play footy, which I was never really good enough to. Unfortunately.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wonder sometimes, and I've thought about this, because I thought about when footy players go out on the field, especially the AFL ones, where everyone's eyes are on them and there's a lot of pressure and so on. Is it a bit like service in the restaurant, where you, you've got you prep, and then all of a sudden it's like, it's like the theatre too, isn't it? The suddenly you're out and you're doing it, and it's all happening, and
you work on those open kitchens. Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
and people do like that. And there was that. I think I grew up in this golden era where we kind of evolved from that horribleness of the 90s and the Gordon Ramsay and Marcus Warings of the world, into, you know, what we call the MasterChef era, where it became glamorized and it went from less rock star to more pop star. You know what I mean? It was cool. It wasn't just sort of like Marco, you know, smoking darts and, you know, sweating in a blue apron over a stock pan. It was, you know, it was actually cool. It was trendy, and, you know, you saw these people really glamorize the profession in a not so grungy way, which I thought was, you know, it's actually been interesting to see evolve. But yeah.
And so when you say you became obsessed, and so obviously that means you worked really hard and you sought ways to work your way up and so on. Does that also mean do you read about other chefs or find? I mean, what look at books? What's your? How do you?
Used to. Yeah, I used to. I think I became really immersed in it. You know, and that came with the lifestyle as well. Like, you would just your days off were, you know, Tuesday and Wednesday, usually. You'd wake up at 1 because you'd been at the pub till late with all the on hospo night the night before. And then your days off was spent just going out to restaurants with you and your dropkick mates, you know. And but yeah, I had I mean, it was a growing cookbook collection. Now it's kind of like tapered off a little bit. I've just you know, I have beautiful books and stuff, and like if the odd one comes along that really grabs me. But like these days, I've got lots of friends who've written some incredible books. You know, Roisin's Sport Chinese-ish out. I wrote about it for Broadsheet, so I know all about it.
Great,
yeah.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Great rag, absolutely. Annalise Gregory, she brought something out recently. I was like, I was like, I got to get that. You know, she was. We worked together key years ago, and she's been a huge. Well, we only worked together for about 18 months, but we you know, stayed loosely in contact over these years, and I still really look up to her she's a bit real mentor of mine. And I thought, but yeah, that when it comes to cookbooks, that's about where it, you know, sort of ends these days. But yeah, at the time, that was all where all my money went.
Yeah,
restaurants, cookbooks, knives, all that sort of stuff.
It is pretty amazing, and having been in London and all those things, that's a great journey, isn't it?
It's very Anthony Bourdain-esque.
Yes.
That underbelly, like, I'm sure it still exists these days, but that underbelly of the cooking world where, like, you know, you live with, all you do is you travel around the world with your knife roll and a spare pair of shoes and some undies, and a bit seedy, but yeah, all very driven by passion and this obsession, you know. It's always fascinated me about the industry. It's that real melting pot of what is cooking. You know, is it a trade? Is it an art? Is it a science? It's literally everything bundled in together, but at the same time, it's still always the industry is just run by this ragtag bunch of misfits. You know, you get pretty boys who have a knack for cooking, or you have ex-military people come out of nowhere. You just got, like, you know, guys who've you know, had a rough upbringing but seem to thrive in that environment, you know, and they all kind of come together under this umbrella of being a chef. And I guess all of that stuff's almost thrown out the window, which I think is, you know, is beautiful in itself to a degree.
That's right.
You know?
And so now with where you're at, and with the cult following, are you able to feel happy with what you do, or do you still have a slight imposter syndrome?
I mean, of course. Like, I think that's never going to go away. Like, I'm never going to embrace stardom if it ever befalls me. But I truly believe, I will say this, that I think it's only because it's not an inadequacy, but I think no matter what I do and what I achieve, I'm grateful for the fact that I will never be complacent, because I still feel that there's more that I can do. And I still feel that is the case with what we're doing now. Not because, you know, I'm capable of so much more, but I just think like there's opportunity out there, and just don't really want to leave that opportunity, at least, you know, having a crack at it. and people do say you create your own luck and that sort of thing, and I think we have, we've worked ourselves to the bone to get to where we are now, but we have also been incredibly fortunate. I've forged some incredible connections out of circumstance. I've done enough, or people have liked me enough, I guess, to sort of, keep those connections strong enough to, to forge a relationship from. I've got like some incredible mentors and friends who have just assisted us all the way. And yeah, in hindsight, I also look back and think, well, that's just what being successful is that making sure that, like, doing the best thing to keep people around you, and that it's not that you just sort of bumped into the street and they're like, oh, here, I'll do this for you. You think you have to do the right things to make sure those people around. But yeah, I think that's been a huge backbone to our success story as well. And beyond any friend or mentor or, inspiration I've ever had, I think the number one for me in that is my partner. Like, I think most people by now know that, sure, like this, no matter, if they put me on the telly or, write an article where she is Tarts Anon, 100%. Like, none of this would be without her.
Yeah.
And I don't mean like she's just been the she come and picks me up from work or goes to the shops when I run out of flour. No, she's like, she drove this. Yeah. She's a mastermind. She does like all the business ideas and, the little things that kind of make us stand out from the rest. That little kind of niche pocket we fall into is all because of her. She's super witty. She's incredibly business focused. She's economically, incredibly economically competent. I'll be like, we're doing well this week. Screw it. I'll spend $6,000 on this new toy for the kitchen or something like that. And she's like, well, and she's always kept me in line that way, and that frugality has really rubbed off. And I think now, together with the two of us, we kind of really have forged something pretty incredible. But yeah, she's by and far the main reason why this thing's been a success, I think, which is sweet.
It's great. Yeah. I love it. Thank you.
No, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Conversation with a Chef with Gareth Whitton at Tarts Anon. If you want to experience all the greatness for yourself, which of course you do, you should check out the Tarts Anon Insta at tarts_anon. It's brilliantly wrangled by Catherine. It's very quirky and funny, not to mention it has gorgeous photos of tarts. You should also jump on www.tartsanon.com.au and order a tart. Why would you not? As for me, I'm also on Instagram at Conversation with a Chef, and if you want to read the chat, you can head to www.conversationwithachef.com. I would love it if you told a friend about my chats, and of course you can follow me on Apple and Spotify podcast. Once again, thanks for listening and have a great day.